She only agreed to the date as a joke, until her toddler called Black single dad Daddy. She had accepted the date with a grin she couldn't even hide, thinking it would become another funny story to tell her coworkers on Monday. But before lunch was over, her curious little toddler looked across the picnic table, smiled with complete innocence, reached both tiny arms toward the quiet man sitting opposite them, and softly said, "Daddy." The laughter that had filled the sunny park disappeared in an instant. No one knew why the child had spoken that single word, but everyone could see the expression on the man's face. It wasn't surprise alone. It was the look of someone whose heart had been waiting years to hear a word he never expected would be spoken to him. Before we begin, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of hope, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with friends and family, and subscribe to the channel Heartwarming Tales for more inspiring stories. Bright sunlight poured across Willow Creek Community Park as families spread blankets across the green grass and children chased bubbles floating through the warm afternoon air. Among them walked a cheerful but exhausted young mother named Zarila, a woman known for hiding her worries behind quick jokes and an easy smile. Since becoming a single mother to her lively 2-year-old son, Nico, she had focused every ounce of her energy on work and parenting. Friends often encouraged her to start dating again, but she always laughed it off, insisting romance had become a luxury she couldn't afford. When one persistent friend arranged a casual lunch with a kind-hearted single father named Tavian, she agreed only because she believed nothing serious could possibly come from it. Tavian arrived carrying a small picnic basket instead of flowers, explaining that he had learned simple gestures often meant more than expensive gifts. He worked as a neighborhood carpenter, restoring old homes and building custom furniture with remarkable patience. Years earlier he had dreamed of becoming a father, but life had taken painful turns. An engagement had ended unexpectedly, and afterward he poured his love into mentoring neighborhood children, coaching youth basketball, and volunteering at community projects. Though many admired his generous spirit, loneliness quietly followed him home each evening. Their conversation began awkwardly, filled with nervous smiles and polite questions. Zarila found herself teasing him about bringing homemade sandwiches instead of ordering restaurant food, expecting him to become embarrassed. Instead, he laughed warmly and admitted he had spent all morning practicing the recipe because he wanted their meeting to feel genuine. His honesty caught her off guard. There was no performance, no attempt to impress her with grand stories or expensive possessions. He simply listened carefully whenever she spoke, especially when she described the challenges of raising Nico alone. Meanwhile, little Nico wandered between butterflies, squirrels, and colorful flowers until he eventually returned to the picnic blanket. He studied Tavian with the fearless curiosity only toddlers possess. Without hesitation, he climbed into Tavian's lap as though they had known each other forever. Zarila apologized immediately, but Tavian simply smiled and gently helped the child balance a tiny juice cup. Then came the unforgettable moment. Looking directly into Tavian's eyes, Nico wrapped his small arms around his neck and whispered, "Daddy." Silence settled over the picnic. Zarila's cheeks flushed with embarrassment as she quickly tried to explain that Nico occasionally called friendly men by that name because he had never known his own father. She expected Tavian to feel uncomfortable or excuse himself early. Instead, he quietly replied that children often recognized kindness long before adults allowed themselves to see it. His calm response dissolved much of her embarrassment, though the unexpected word continued echoing in both their hearts. Over the following weeks, what had started as a joke slowly became a friendship neither expected. They met during bright afternoons at farmers' markets, community festivals, and playgrounds where laughter replaced awkwardness. Tavian never tried to replace anyone in Nico's life or rush the relationship. Instead, he earned trust through consistent kindness. He repaired a broken bookshelf in Zarila's apartment without charging a cent. He built a small wooden train for Nico using leftover pieces from his workshop. He remembered birthdays, favorite snacks, and even the names of elderly neighbors who often needed help carrying groceries. Still, Zarila remained cautious. Past disappointments had taught her that promises sometimes disappeared as quickly as they appeared. She worried that allowing someone into their lives might only lead to another goodbye that would confuse her son even more. Whenever those fears surfaced, she quietly pulled away, canceling plans or convincing herself they were better as friends. One Saturday afternoon, the community center announced a family building competition where parents and children worked together to create birdhouses for a local nature trail. Nico excitedly begged to participate, but every team required an adult partner. Zarila hesitated, unsure whether she should ask Tavian. Before she could decide, he arrived carrying extra wood, paintbrushes, and child-sized safety goggles, explaining he had signed up because he hoped they might enjoy spending another afternoon together. Throughout the event, Tavian encouraged Nico to paint however he pleased, even when colorful fingerprints covered nearly every surface. Rather than correcting every mistake, he celebrated each crooked line as evidence of creativity. Watching them laugh together beneath the warm afternoon sun, Zarila realized something she had resisted for months. Love wasn't appearing through dramatic speeches or perfect moments. It was quietly revealing itself through patience, reliability, and gentle encouragement. Not everyone supported the growing relationship. A few acquaintances whispered that Tavian deserved someone without responsibilities, while others warned Zarila that trusting too easily could lead to heartbreak. Those words reopened old fears, causing distance between them once again. Sensing her uncertainty, Tavian refused to pressure her. Instead, he simply reminded her that genuine care could never be forced. It had to be chosen freely, one day at a time. Several weeks later, heavy rain damaged part of Zarila's apartment roof while she was at work. Water leaked into Nico's bedroom, soaking toys and books. Before insurance adjusters or maintenance crews could arrive, neighbors organized a cleanup effort. Tavian quietly led the volunteers, repairing temporary damage, moving furniture, and comforting frightened families throughout the building. He expected no recognition. For him, helping others had always been the natural thing to do. When Zarila arrived home and saw dozens of neighbors working together under Tavian's calm guidance, tears filled her eyes. She finally understood that character revealed itself most clearly during difficult moments. This was not a man pretending to be kind for admiration. This was simply who he was. As the repaired apartment filled once again with warmth and laughter, Nico ran toward Tavian carrying the little wooden train that had become his favorite toy. Looking up with the same innocent smile he had worn during their very first meeting, he once again called him Daddy. This time, no one rushed to correct him. Zarila gently took Tavian's hand, realizing that families are sometimes formed not by chance alone, but through compassion, commitment, and countless ordinary acts of love that slowly become extraordinary. Special request: if this story touched your heart, comment below with, "Kindness builds families." If this story inspired you or reminded you of the power of kindness, please like, share, and subscribe to Heartwarming Tales so more people can discover stories that bring hope and encouragement. In the years that followed, people in Willow Creek often remembered that sunny afternoon when a playful joke unexpectedly became the beginning of something beautiful. They learned that the strongest relationships are rarely built through perfect plans. They grow through patience, honesty, forgiveness, and the courage to believe in second chances. Sometimes the smallest voice speaks the greatest truth, reminding us that love is not measured by biology or timing but by the steady choice to care for one another every single day. And when kindness leads the way, even an ordinary afternoon can become the first page of a family's most treasured story.